Confederacy is boned. Create Iowa as a state. This is also how you can make the Confederacy win. We're going to not extend slavery, especially in Wisconsin. A stalwart defender of Southern values, Wisconsin. So I think we still have... I don't think we didn't get cores on that. Okay, so we can... Oh, we only have 65 power. Mexico lost their ability to colonize because they are 65 on the scale, and you need to be at least 16 on the scale to colonize. So we're get our borders pretty quickly. British are usually involved in Canada and do not try to stray south. Also because, hey, you know, fucking cores are down here, so you don't want to mess with that. Actually, Colombia has cores in these, but they don't ever release Colombia. Rebel scum. Talk of secession from the Union can be heard all over the streets of Lake Charles. In fact, all over Louisiana there is talk of secession, as fewer and fewer feel that the meaningful compromise protecting the peculiar institution, i.e. slavery, of the South, can be reached in a climate where Congress moves increasingly towards a position of favoring political reform. Rebel scum. So everything in Louisiana is now Confederate. They don't start with Confederate cores, and it's kind of random. Sometimes you'll get Kentucky never getting the cores. As someone who, if you want to prevent the AI from forming the Confederacy, I'm just going to leave my troops in Texas. They're going to be needed here soon. This is Tennessee. And Mississippi. Alabama. Florida. None of this is too surprising. Kentucky. See, sometimes Kentucky doesn't. And a lot of times they won't join the war. Virginia. You'd think Virginia would be a big deal, but it's not. Georgia. Where's the Carolinas, man? There we go. Maryland. So this is our victory. Missouri. West Virginia, that doesn't make any sense. But whatever. There's lots of ahistorical things. Coal-laden tub must have weighed heavily on her body, fragile and worn from many years of arduous labor in the Bismarck coal mines. For her feet could no longer carry her. There in the dark, I act like that was funny. It's North Dakota. There in the dark, where the shafts go countless fathoms deep, she slipped and fell. Another young girl has lost her life in a coal mining accident in one of our provinces. And the particular tragedy of the case has received national attention. How unfortunate. Consciousness is a big deal to the United States, because that's what triggers the slavery thing. Okay, we have our points back, so let's go talk to England. England will actually give us a province if we are nice to them. So we will be nice to them. We start with a CB on them, but they will try to divest themselves of that province once given the chance. Another thing you can do is just watch and see if they do something stupid, like ally themselves with Belgium and then have the Netherlands ally with Prussia or Austria and then try to take over, and they have to fight them. The AI is particularly bad at fighting colonial wars in Europe. Okay. It looks like we can probably lower our rich taxes. It's so little that it's not that big a deal. Tariffs I'll probably have to keep up. Let's actually raise our administration as high as we can. In our education. Okay. That's fine. And we'll see how this goes. Okay. I'll stick like that. The taxes do not weigh heavily on the American people. Regardless. We could probably afford a navy if I wanted to do that. Not a bad idea to have a couple of ships. Yes, I know I destroyed all my ships, but that's not really that big of a deal. When can I do this? Yeah, it'll tell me. I was not necessarily concerned about losing these guys. I think they will actually join the Confederacy if we extend them as a slave state, which we won't do because that's dumb. So I think those basically convert directly into laborers. Slaves do. Maybe farmers. I'm not sure. They're not. They don't go into soldiers, and they must convert into farmers since there's nothing else here. Okay, so how are we doing on this? Apparently, we still don't have these railroads built. Look, man, I'm gonna just build them myself here in a minute if you don't do this. Do I need forts anywhere? I don't think so. It does stimulate the building of cement factories. That's for sure. I don't think we do. Let's build them in some of the colonies. Just as a precaution. That doesn't need one. Michigan. Yeah, I'll build one. I don't know what I'm doing. I should be shift clicking this stuff. Apparently can't build a fort here. Because I'm out of money. Oh, okay. I see. Doesn't matter that much. So we got a 5-year truce with Mexico. Which is... yes... 1842. An unrealistically long period of time between the Texan War and the Mexican-American War. But, you know, game mechanics, you gotta work with what you gotta work with. So another thing you want to do is you want to get Hawaii. So let's increase our relations with Hawaii. I forget what exactly makes you do that. It's not something that you have unlocked at the beginning of the game. I think it's linked to Manifest Destiny, so it doesn't show up until later. So we're about to complete Romanticism, as expected. Early in 1838, Horace Mann, politician and lawyer Horace Mann, began his reforms of the educational system of Massachusetts. His system of schools became a model for the entire United States. Can never be too educated. Hey, we get some research points. Get 2 prestige, some plurality, and some research points, which instantly researches Romanticism. So now we have to wait to get idealism, and then we can get that stuff later. So, we unlock Manifest Destiny. Influence of Mexico changed by -500. Relation with Mexico changed by -250. All pops gain 2 consciousness. We'll get all of Texas, all of New Mexico, all of Oklahoma, all of Colorado, all of Oregon, Nevada, Utah, California, and Arizona as a core. I think we started with cores on Oregon. Manifest Destiny, y'all. Hoorah. Basically, now that all these are cores. Yeah, I don't think we started with the core there, now that I think about it. Now we got cores on all this stuff. So it's going to be relatively cheap to get that stuff. No, man. Respect their beliefs. Okay. Back on task with increasing relations with the bigwigs. Let's be friends with France. France is supposed to like us. Russia, good idea to get your relations up with Russia so you can buy Alaska later. Secessionist sentiment. District of Columbia. I'm not sure why that's an entire state, but I'm not going to question it. Let's start putting the USCA in our sphere. The Benevolent Empire. One direct impact of religious revival in the USA in the early 19th century would be the explosion of the number of voluntary organizations organized to help improve society by tackling perceived social or moral problems in society, providing comfort to the less fortunate, or promoting self-help via education. Dubbed the Benevolent Empire by historians, these organizations help provide a community infrastructure for a society rapidly expanding in numbers and being transformed by new economic forces for the betterment of society, and we gain some plurality and lose a bunch of militancy. So we can make Michigan a state. Extend slavery to Michigan. Oddly enough, this still gives... Oh no, okay, it doesn't to Texas because I removed Texas, okay. Basically, we're stacking... one of the reasons those events happened so quickly is because I made 3 states in succession and banned slavery in all of them. Oh noes! Arkansas! Basically, every state that has slavery is going to get that. So, a newspaper. We're number 4 now. Anything interesting here? Pushkin dies. Putau. Nah, nothing interesting. Anybody else I want to start spearing? We'll get the USCA in our sphere. We ally with them. Unitarianism in Canada. In America, the rise of numerous sects within Protestant Christianity in the USA in the early 19th century would create an environment for further theological speculation. One of the most influential movements arise from this would be the American Unitarianism, emphasizing the role of reason in understanding theology, and thus rejecting the concept of the Trinity, and the role of inherent goodness of humanity and its capability for improvement because of reason. Unitarianism would become very influential among middle and upper class populations in the northeastern USA, and encourage several movements of social improvement from public education to abolitionism. Faith and reason can be reconciled to improve humanity. And they get consciousness. Ooh, I got another thing I can do. The House Gag Rule reduces consciousness in the USA. I can do that anytime it's above 3. I can do this here, where they also lose that as well. Proposal compromising the slavery issue centered around the premise of popular sovereignty as determination for slavery or abolitionism in the territories. Basically, if they have slavery already, people will vote for it, whether they decide whether or not they get it. I don't think this actually does anything. So, this basically makes it so that slavery is extended. It doesn't. These don't actually do anything. It just, this makes it so that they lose consciousness in the South. We're not going to do those. We can do these. Nothing really involved there. But I'm just going to choose to do nothing. Screw y'all. Hey, we actually got that, first. I want to improve my relations with England. Where'd that come from? I think they've been raising their relations with us too. Okay. Number 4 in industry already. That's good. And we're only going to continue to rise. There is no stopping us. We are legion. Apparently Oklahoma has slavery. Historical. But we're going to rip that slavery out of them. Clad in her white dress, strolling down the streets of Biloxi, Mississippi. Her radiance, nobility, and simple beauty turns heads. Speaking her gentleness, kindness, hospitality, and accent, all draped in the flavors of magnolias. What? Soft cotton and southern verandas do the same. Virtue, honor, and dignity in manifest form are the women of the South. A toast to Dixie. Say to our knights. And aristocrats, capitalists gain consciousness, or to Southern labor and all craftsmen and laborers. I don't see any slaves in there. Oh look, somebody. This is the contrast here. Industry in the North, where everybody's getting killed, and this is the South, where everybody's being all romantic and you know, unrealistic. This is the truth. This is the lie. I like how those two popped up at the same time. Horrible industry is what wins the wars, people. Not having ideals about what is I don't know. The correct way of etiquette or something? I have no idea. Okay, that's okay. Let's look at our factory situation in Georgia. I'm gonna get the South back. It's not like regular clothes is going to actually help them any. They're gonna keep it, so I'll get the factory eventually. I might as well invest in it. American Methodist Episcopal Church. We're gonna get a lot of these. Established in 1816 by African-American members of the Methodist community of Philadelphia. In the 1830s and 1840s, the AME Church would rapidly expand its membership among both free and slave populations in the United States during the era of religious revival, i.e. now, providing a spiritual outlet for the African-American community, completely under their own control and direction, and a new platform for challenging the continued practice of slavery in the Union. And we gain consciousness for Afro-Americans. Okay, it'll probably finish as soon as they can get all the parts here. Looks like they're getting it. Some investors. Second Great Awakening. By the mid-1830s, a wave of religious zeal was sweeping across the USA, driven by charismatic preachers who called for the faithful to return to the original teachings of the Bible and to lead upright, upstanding moral lives. The movement could spawn several new Protestant sects, leading to debates and schisms within established sects over the points of theology and ritual, and reinforced the power and influence of Christian teachings among the lower and middle classes of the American people at a time where religious fervor in Europe was decreasing. Spirit seizes the imagination. All pops gain 0.3 consciousness. All of this stuff is making the Civil War become more and more likely to happen. And everybody gets moralism, which all of our parties support anyway, so it's not a big deal. That is a complete non-issue, basically. Okay, so our USCA stuff, we can add them to our sphere now. Boom. Now we can start looking elsewhere. Brazil's a good thing to get into your sphere, also. But you can look for things like Colombia. Well, Colombia has something very important that they own, being Panama. However, they often lose Panama. Trail of Tears, awesome! So we get this because we own this. So, the Trail of Tears is the English rendition of the Cherokee name for the forced relocation of the Greater Cherokee Nation from its homeland in southeastern United States, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, etc., to the newly established Indian Territories of Oklahoma. By the Indian Removal Act of 1830, enacting this decision lies within our prerogative. So, basically what happens is because we own Oklahoma, and we did before, and I don't know why I didn't do that. Basically, we can move every population, well, 20% of the population to Oklahoma City. They'll lose 2 militancy, gain 2 consciousness. They'll lose 20% of their population. And Cherokee will gain those as cores, lose cores on Arkansas, and Cherokee will be added as an accepted culture to our country. So the advantage of having the accepted culture is good. So we'll do that. Ha! We're jerks! Should have a picture of Andrew Jackson on it. So, as you can see here, Cherokee. And then you have Cherokee culture, Native American minor. Basically nobody really lives here at the beginning. Most of those will end up as Yankee anyway. Copperheads were a group of Democrats in the northern United States who during the Civil War opposed the war. Favored a peace settlement with the South. We don't even know this is going to happen yet, game. Oh, I mean we do, but in the game they don't. The moniker came originally from Unionists, likening them to poisonous snakes, but students stuck home with the Copperheads themselves. While there is no war yet, there's staunch resistance to abolitionism within some circles in Madison. Stepping up local political campaigning could probably neutralize them, but only at the cost of offending Southern sentiments. So, Madison, Wisconsin? People care about slavery in Madison, Wisconsin. I guess it did give them the option of giving them slavery. How about no F you, Alabama, specifically? Okay, whatever. We of Alabama are highly offended by you talking about Wisconsin in that way. Okay. So how's our production doing? Ooh, small arms factory in New York. Do not mind if I do. Let's get some of these. What are you doing? Build that damn factory. What's your problem? There we go. Whatevs. Build a railroad. I don't care. Okay. So when it's 1842, I believe. Or when? April 2nd. So we'll be like 2 techs past stuff anyway. I want to max out my points with the USCA so that Britain often will mess with them too. Then I want to work on Colombia, and then I'll probably move on to Brazil. Having Colombia fully in your pocket means you can do the canal really easily. And as the USA, you really want that. Because you got 2 coasts to worry about. Most people only have to worry about 1. Mexico has to worry about 2 too. But 2 also. Hey. Okay, let's check out our stuff here. Let's lower our tax on our middle class. Can we afford to have this at 50? I like the effects this has. This is what happens when you've got kind of a well-developed economy already, is that things like that can often swing things wildly. Okay, I think I want to remove the focus here. And I want to focus soldiers somewhere. Do you have any factories in Ohio? I want a place that has a lot of population. What has the biggest population? New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio. As I expected, Ohio is number 3. I want to focus soldiers in Ohio. Pennsylvania and New York started with factories, and I think Ohio is a factory too. Okay. Second Great Awakening, not really much involved there. Okay. So what's our relations to the USCA? 200, that's good. But also allied with Venezuela. Ooh. Looks like worst case scenario for Prussia here. France is allied with Russia. We'll see if they can pull it out, though. Oh no, the Papal States. Prussia's got to worry about the Papal States. Better tremble. Okay. So where do we get... Oh, we didn't discover that first. Wickedness supposed to be stamped out. What's going on here? Clearly planning for a sneak attack. We go show him them who's boss. Okay, we do want to have troops stationed up here so we can take this stuff over. Wallachia? Why would we care about that? You get a lot of prestige from this cotton stuff. It's just strange, we didn't get that many of those as Persia, and we had lots of cotton. Don't know, I don't remember what relations we have to be for England to give us a province. I think it's like 160 or something like that. Which is kind of unrealistic. They kind of did that to alleviate some bad tensions and stuff. We'll do that. We'll be nice guys to the Indians. You know, after doing the Trail of Tears. Create a state in Florida. Hey guys. How about we don't have slavery in Florida? Fuck you, Confederacy. No slavery. That's what you get. They still have a core there, though. Even if you extend slavery to all of your colonies, you're not going to have a lot to work with. Why do I have unemployed people in Massachusetts? No, Ohio doesn't have a factory. Yeah, they have factories. Make them better. Okay. That was from buying a factory. Yeah, see, it equalized itself. We're buying stuff for those factories and junk and paying for supplies for these guys. They're not even paying their troops, it looks like. They're not going to have much luck here in a little bit. Let's build some forts. Just because I'm already building a fort there. To stimulate the economy more than anything else. We don't really need the forts. They don't have the troops to really come at us. And if I really felt threatened, I could always mobilize. Which I do not. And will not. Mexico fears our might. Damn straight they should. Okay, almost to the point where you can research that. We'll do that. We'll get medicine, we'll get clean coal. We'll get a unrealistic election. Don't they know? They should know when elections are in America, damn it. I know, it's just a game mechanic, but you'd think they'd have a thing where they could, you know, have a, you know, put the elections on different days. Whatever, Missouri. F you. Let's see. I think that's the only difference. We want to keep Jingoism for now. So, we'll do this. As soon as we're done with the war in Mexico, we can start thinking about expansion to other areas. We will eventually get an event that gives us a core on Cuba and stuff like that. Let's see, this is residency. We actually want limited citizenship, I think, is what we want. Residency is reactionary. No, limited citizenship is both, okay. I guess they're not that reactionary of a jerk. Wickedness. All of it. Stamp it! Stamp the wickedness. Like bugs. Stamp it out. Either debate in Ohio. Protectionism. I think nobody really wants protectionism. Nope. Well, Democrats. But they're jerks. Okay, this is not dangerous to us. Whatever. F the South. Oh crap, I forgot. My tech! No! Coronation of Queen Victoria. Cool. This removes